Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about the match between FC Barcelona and Granada, and in this game Barcelona has tied against Granada at the Camp Nou 1-1. This was a game, right? I'm going to be very honest here. This was a game that Barcelona did not control. This was a game where Granada, the opposition, actually brought a game towards Barcelona, just like how Bayern Munich did, just like how PSG did in today's match. This was simply a match where it did show that Koeman right now is just not capable to maximize his players. And again, I'm going to continue to say that I am very sorry to put out a tone like this. I'm very sorry to put out so much tension out there in the air, but these things just have to be talked about because at this point it is a joke. It is a joke for Barcelona to tie against Granada 1-1. Like, yes, we were all laughing. Yes, we were all making memes on the social media, but now we are demanding change. Now we are demanding for a brand new manager to take over of this club. We can no longer tolerate results like this. We have seen results like this against Granada and Levante and Cadiz in the previous season. We have seen this already, and the fact that we cannot change this, and the fact that we continue to choose not to change on who is the current manager of Barcelona, that is unacceptable. This week has to be a week where we do demand change, where Joan Laporta is going to have to reassess how he is going to be taking over this season. And I also do want to give a very big shout out towards one player in this match, and that is Ronald Araujo. Ronald Araujo in this game played everywhere. He played as a great right back, he played as a great center back, he also played as a great center forward. He was everywhere, and he was playing very well in all of those positions. This guy is a monster. This guy is a player that you want to renew. We have heard reports before that Barcelona do plan on renewing Araujo's contract, and looking at this performance, right, without Araujo in this game, we probably would have lost this match. Like, really think about that. Without Araujo, a center back, we would have lost and went scoreless in this game. It shows you how well Araujo and how good Araujo is for FC Barcelona, but on the other side, it shows you what Barcelona actually is at this very moment, and the fans and the people that are working within Barcelona, they are not happy. So what we are going to be doing in this video is talk about the first half, the second half, and then give my overall feeling of this whole game, starting with the first half. And I'm going to be talking about the lineup. Now, looking at this lineup here, it is so clear that Koeman wanted to make changes in his starting 11. He wanted to use the youth, which was great. There were positive vibes before this game and in the very beginning of this game. The fact that we saw Dest on the right, Alejandro Balde getting his first start in La Liga as a left back, and then we also saw Eric Garcia and Araujo starting in that center back position, and then lastly we saw Demir playing as the right winger within that front three. This was a starting 11 where the average age of Barcelona's defense was 20 years old, and the overall average age of this team that was executed by Koeman, it was 24 years old. The only player that was over the age of 30 years old, it was Sergio Busquets. So we were really looking forward towards this game and to see how these youngsters were going to play. But now let's go into the first half. And then from the very beginning, it only took about 80 seconds to 90 seconds for Granada to score the first goal in this game. They have scored within the first minute. This goal that we saw here tonight, it says here that Domingo's goal is the earliest that Barcelona have conceded in La Liga, which was 1 minute and 28 seconds since September 2019. That record back on September 2019, it was also scored by Granada, which was on minute 1 and 3 seconds, coming from a goal coming from Ramon. And it really sucks to see this, right? Because many of us were very optimistic before this game that we were actually going to show a great performance. But the fact that Granada had to score this early in the game at the Camp Nou, I am not surprised, because we know how this team loves to give very easy goals, very cheap goals. And if you look seconds before this goal was scored, one of the main reasons on why Granada found it so easy was because Sergio Busquets was supposed to be that player to man mark the player that made that cross into the box. But Busquets looked very loose. He did not look like he was capable to defend that player on a 1v1, and that is why that cross went over Frenkie de Jong's head and Granada scored. This is also the reason why in yesterday's video I was really pushing for Nico Gonzalez to start in this game, because Nico Gonzalez would have never allowed this. He would have never allowed a player take him on in that way. It was so easy for the opposition to find that cross, because the way that Nico Gonzalez plays, he's very intense. He loves to dispossess the ball, and hopefully, right, in the future, look, I understand that Busquets is a enormous player. We know that on the ball he is excellent. His IQ in football, when he does retain possession, it is 100%. But we need to start seeing a transition in this season of a player like Nico Gonzalez coming in for Busquets. And then going further into this game within the first half, Barcelona really did look flat, and many of us were actually very surprised, because many of us were thinking that, okay, because we are going to be having more youth in the starting 11, we're going to be having more opportunities, more created chances. But that was not the case in Ronald Koeman's Barcelona. And here's the thing, right? I want to make this very clear. Bringing in the youth is one thing, right, onto the field to introduce this many amount of youngsters, but maximizing the players that you are assembling in that starting 11 is a whole different thing. In this game, these players that we saw, they were not maximized, and the stats are going to be proving it. Because look, Barcelona looked very repetitive. They either had two choices to attack. Point number one, they either send that ball to Alejandro Balde in order for him to make that cross into the box, or point number two, they fed Serginho Dest multiple times in order for him to build something, to create with either Demir or Sergio Roberto, or maybe even find another cross inside the box. That was the only way Barcelona could move forward. There was just simply no outlet. Like when we talk about Memphis Depay and Coutinho in the first half, they did not really do much. We can even look at the heat map here, just how disconnected Memphis Depay was with the other players, how disconnected Coutinho was with the other players. And then you look at the positions of Dest, Roberto, and Demir. They were not working well. The positions were horrible. They were either too close together or too far apart, and they really couldn't make anything work out. So it's almost as if these roles were not communicated very well by Koeman, because when you have players who do not know their roles, you're not going to be having a direction. You're not going to be having a set way of playing and taking on the opposition. And what does this get you, right? What do you get when players do not understand their roles? Well, it says here that on the 35th minute, and I pointed this out, by the 35th minute of the game, Barcelona had 75% possession, right? We had the ball, but Granada had a total of 4 chances created while Barcelona only had 1. So that really does show you that Barcelona were very lacking on the creative side, and that really looked bad on Ronald Koeman's managing with these players. This was a moment, right? I remember around the 35th minute, around the 40th minute of the first half, many of us were taking a moment and saying there is so much attention going on Ronald Koeman's job, because the fact that you continue to show that you can maximize these players, the fact that Granada has to create more chances than you when you have Coutinho, Demir, Memphis, and Frankie de Jong on the field, that is a shame. And then on the 40th minute, we did see Alejandro Balde come out very early in the game. Mingueza had to come in and sub in for Balde because Balde was suffering some back pain. This is official coming from Barcelona. And then because Mingueza took over Balde's spot, Serginho Dest moved towards the left. And then on the 44th minute, we saw a big header chance coming from Ronald Araujo, but the goalkeeper did save that header coming from Araujo, and I really wished that ball went in. But we were very unlucky in that first half, and Araujo really did deserve that goal at that very moment. And then moving on towards the second half, many of us were expecting many changes, and Ronald Koeman decided to go with this. Luke de Jong came in for Sergio Roberto in the second half. Coutinho moved towards the middle after he was playing on the left wing. Memphis Depay took over that left wing position, and Luke de Jong played as the center forward. So it was a front three of Memphis on the left, Luke de Jong as the center forward, and Demir as the right winger. So as you can see here in the second half, to basically sum it up, we were playing a crossing game. It was either with a cross coming from Dest or Memphis to Luke de Jong, or Demir going on a 1v1. And Granada in that second half did have a very clear plan. They were trying to stop Memphis in whatever way, whether it was to foul him or just take the ball, because they knew that Memphis was that player to cause the most damage for Granada. And then on the 59th minute, we saw Gavi coming in for Felipe Coutinho, and by that moment on the 59th minute, we did see Barcelona actually improve their game. They actually started to create more chances. We saw Dest taking on players, we saw Demir trying to take on players, Memphis Depay doing what he always does. Barcelona were actually improving, but it wasn't at that level that we wanted Barcelona to be at. It really does show you just how low we actually started in the very beginning of this game. It simply just was not enough. And just to give you guys even more context for you guys to understand where Barcelona's level attacking wise was actually at, by the 68th minute, the one player that had the highest expected goal ratio, it was Ronald Araujo, Barcelona's center back, with 0.26 in expected goals, and Memphis Depay was right under him with 0.18. And then if we look at the total shots, Memphis Depay and Araujo had the exact same amount of total shots. So it shows you that many of these players in that starting 11 of the second half were just not effective. And then from there, we completely stalled. In level, we had no ideas. It was a Barcelona that looked very flat. And what does that give you? It basically meant that Granada saw that Barcelona had no ideas, and Granada believed that they could actually win and come out with 3 points at the Camp Nou. And then moving forward from there, everything just went to a complete 360. Like for example, we saw Gerard Piqué coming in for Youssef Demir, and many of us were like, okay, Piqué is probably going to move to the center and we're going to be playing with a back three. But then Gerard Piqué was actually playing as a center forward in this game. Like, really think about what I'm actually saying here. Gerard Piqué, a center back who is 34 years old, was playing as the striker inside the box for FC Barcelona. And many of us were thinking that Luke de Jong was supposed to be taking that role and just sit there as the center forward and look for those crosses. But the fact that Koeman chose Piqué to be within that role, even though he himself asked for Luke de Jong to come into this squad, into Barcelona. But again, only for him to choose Piqué instead of Luke de Jong in that role, it just made us believe that Ronald Koeman did not know what he was doing. And then on the 78th minute, we saw a moment where Luke de Jong missed a header and missed the one thing that we actually signed him for. And then fast forwarding towards the last 10 minutes of the second half, Barcelona were just playing a game of crossing and praying, right? You cross and then you pray and hope for the best. And then moving on towards the 89th minute, we saw Gavi send a cross to the box and Araujo scored a screamer and got the goal that he deserved and tied against Granada 1-1. It was a moment that showed that Araujo was the man of the match of this game, from playing as a right back, from playing as a center back, from creating the most opportunities and shots and expected goals inside the box. Araujo really truly deserved to score a goal against Granada. And now that this game has ended with a 1-1 tie, what does this say for Ronald Koeman? I'm not going to go into further detail regarding Koeman's continuity with FC Barcelona. Many of us do know what we could expect within these next 36 to 48 hours. But like I have said in the very beginning of this video, Laporta is going to have to make a decision because we can no longer tolerate to bring results like this. You guys already know my opinion on Koeman's position at Barcelona. You know exactly how I do feel about his managing. So whatever does happen, again, I'm not going to go into further detail. Whatever does happen within these next 36 to 48 hours, we are going to be speaking about it here in this YouTube channel. But I do expect massive changes to happen, my friends. This may be a very decisive week for Joan Laporta and the future of FC Barcelona. But that is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona post-match review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.